It's winter time, or at least that's what they tell me. Make sure everything's going here, technology-wise. Lot to talk about tonight, guys. Will be interesting. It's kind of warm in here too. It was all right. What is today? All right, it's officially time for me to start. So it is. Hey Joe, how are you? Tuesday evening. We are in the central part of the United States. It is approximately 5:31 p.m. It is 57 degrees and partly cloudy. It was a really nice day, but I did go step outside just a couple of minutes ago to get the dogs in. And man, it got cold. I don't know what's going on the weather front. I haven't been watching it today, but otherwise it was partly sunny, cloudy here. Weather's good. Had a visit from the police. So all went well, doing good. So Joe, what are you up to, man? How's Joe doing? I know you're happy to be back home. So I'm really upset. I bought a pack of batteries and all of them are dead. Every battery in this pack was dead. Made me mad. Wasted $5. Timmy, thank you for the thumbs up. Thank you for coming. We greatly, greatly appreciate you. I didn't get to see you today or yesterday. I was busy, so I wasn't for sure if you were up and about or what you were up to. But oh, shut up, dog. Daisy. So yeah, things we're in Arkansas still, enjoying the weather. Timmy, how are you? What have you been up to? I know, Joe, I'm actually going to, I don't speak a lick of Tagalog, but I'm actually going to get ready to even though I don't need to, study some basic words. So Timmy did her. Yeah, you guys need to catch Timmy's when she does her live stream. She has great live streams. I enjoy those. So Mr. Yank is in the house as always. How are you today, sir?
All right. Are you?
Not doing too bad, sir. Not doing too bad.
What you itching and scratching? What's the
Well, you got that's
you got a yeast infection or with what?
Yeah, I mean, so this is the problem, folks. I put a video out, hopefully with a little bit of clickbait to get somebody to watch it.
Boy,
Mr. Yank here just comments on the topic and doesn't watch the video.
You got
the video, even know what I'm talking about.
You got this thing about medical problems or
something.
Yeah, scratching and itching or something, brother, huh?
Yeah.
Three ways and scratch. That sounds like a real nasty combination.
Well, you got to do something, since I'm not a pretty girl and I don't show my boobs.
You used to be, maybe.
Since I'm not a good-looking girl and I can't sing and I don't have, nice boobs to show everybody, it's hard for fat, ugly guys to get traction on.
Oh, man.
But Timmy, I'm doing good, so we appreciate Timmy. If you haven't, I don't know, Mr. Yank, have you ever caught Timmy's live streams?
I have.
Yeah, I enjoy live streams.
Was it? Yeah, it's me. I'm in my living room on my phone, and it allows me to relax more and watch TV at the same time.
Understandable. It is.
Yeah, it's I think our last day of warrant is today.
Timmy, would you like to come up on the panel? You can. Or I'll throw the link back down there.
Hmm. You know that what is that guy that or that she that Biden put in there? Some assistant, some kind of medical uh, position, cabinet kind of thing. It's a guy. It's a guy, but he identifies as a woman.
Oh, yeah. Transgender or something.
Yeah, it's something, but the person is an actual doctor, I guess.
Well, that's good at least.
Yeah, well, but here's a quote though. It said, because nobody believes it's a woman, so
Here's the link, everybody. If you don't know
it says, what does it say?
it.
Oh, if you don't believe I'm a woman, you can suck my dick.
What? Seriously?
Yeah.
Not bad.
I ain't kidding, man. I saw it. It's been a while ago, buddy, but oh my
Hello
God.
to you in Japan. Welcome. Say hi to everybody. Everybody say hi. Make friends.
Oh Lord.
Good morning. She says good morning to us. We appreciate that. Welcome, Chi. How would we say her last name? Anybody want to guess? Kosha?
Koshu.
Koshu?
Koshi?
I'm horrible with English, and I'm worse with every other
There's no E and I. There's no E and I, so it'd be, I don't know how they pronounce
Yeah,
Koshu. Would probably be Koshu.
Koshu.
Yeah, Koshu.
It looks like a cool name. I mean, right? It'd be easy to remember. It'd be,
No, you're not in the wrong live. It's just David here likes putting out these
wrong live.
content of
No, you can't be in a wrong live, man. Our live streams are never wrong for anybody. They may get a little silly, goofy, and they may drive off the ditch really bad, but sometimes.
itchy scratch. It sounds like a yeast infection to me.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So no, it's about we got some humidifiers.
Uh-huh.
You know how dry it is down here. When it gets winter.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah, well, you could have said
okay.
in the winter down south here, do you need a humidifier or no?
Yeah, you need humidifiers.
See, you started something, David. See, she got this. I've heard something too. Do you? No, you're all right. I just couldn't pass that one up there.
Yeah, that's kind of funny.
Yeah, my God.
Yeah, but everybody's welcome here. We make fun of everybody.
They had some kind of as a congressional hearing. You know what those are? They sit there and they get to tell you what a rotten, make fun of you, tell you you don't know what you're talking about, kind of thing, and then oh yeah, well, we'll give them the cabinet post. We'll okay it.
Yeah, I need a cabinet post. What cabinet post did I have?
That's Washington. That's like being in grade school and having issues,
Well, I got a question for everybody down at the bottom of the screen that we're going to play with a little bit.
What are you gonna play with?
Just not what you were talking about.
You're all full of stuff today, boy.
So, what do you want to be remembered for? Now, after I put that question in there, it dawned on me. The real question is, will you be remembered?
Oh, sure.
So, and if you are going to be remembered, what would you like to be remembered for?
Well, it depends how you act, how you carry yourself. You're a good father. If you're not a father, if you're not a parent, you're a good person.
I think we scared old Kosha off because she's going to have to go to work and she's running from us. Like, man, these people are crazy.
Well,
and she's going to decide to go work instead of hang out with us. But be
Hmm.
careful. Enjoy your day at work if that's possible. Joe says, be careful. But yeah, so that's a question, Joe. Do you have an answer for us? What would you like to be remembered for? If you're going to remember it, Mr. Yank. And I don't have an answer. I've thought about this quite often.
Uh, being a better dad than my dad.
Ah, that's
I
a
mean,
nice one.
that's an easy one too.
Be a better dad than your dad. I think I did. Well, I'm not a dad, so I guess I can't do that.
My only got one kid that don't talk to me, but
My dad
the
had two kids that didn't talk to him.
the
So,
other
hey, I'm 50% better.
the other ones no, yeah, the other ones no. Well, one I always liked having a good time when I was young, but I knew what my responsibilities were. I had a daughter when I was 19, so I'd have to leave the party or whatever.
Hold on, I
And
got to shut
uh,
that fan off. Keep
I
talking.
got I got a second daughter that she'd rather party than watch her kid.
Oh,
So that didn't come from me or her mother. So I don't know where she gets that from, and she's got a beautiful daughter, but it's always, they had moved out of state when the oldest one was 5 and she was 3. So I don't know what kind of issues she could have if she wasn't up here to experience any. But the only time I would get a call from her is if she wanted to borrow money, and when I was working a driving job, I'm running from one bus to another. Always calls at the most inopportune time.
yeah. Well, Joe's going to have to get back to us because he's going to have to think about it. And good old Timmy is listening in the background because she's actually going to be working. She's some of these people, which may
Joe,
have jobs.
is Joe retired?
Yep, he's retired.
Law enforcement?
Security.
No, well, the one guy was on his thing once or twice. I forget who, but he was. I think he was down in Georgia.
Yes. Yeah.
He was a
He was hired state trooper, if I remember right. Joe knows him pretty well.
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
that
yeah,
Joe and Ruth or Joe and Joe?
yeah.
Who are we
That's,
talking about, Joe?
yeah,
Joe knows who we're talking about.
I remember speaking to him a few times, and he was coming up on his retirement,
Yeah.
and I was telling him it's a great feeling, So,
Yeah. Oh, we got
well,
okay. So we got a question at the bottom, and something else I'm bitching about is I bought a pack of batteries, and every one of them's dead. So that made me mad. And the cops came to my house today, so that happened. So
too wild a party, too wild.
I guess so. Somebody complained about my dogs
Dogs doing what?
barking.
In the house or in the yard?
They didn't say. He wouldn't give me any information.
Well, it doesn't matter. I mean, that's what they do, man. Some dogs are irritating as hell, but uh, I don't know.
Yeah, Yankee, it was Joe and Jazzy. Joe says it was Joe and Jazzy down in Georgia.
Ah, yeah, yeah, nice guy. Tough job.
Yeah.
I, I couldn't have handled that.
Well, we all know my doggies are barkers, but they are dogs that are supposed to guard my house and property. So
But well, that'd be great dog in the Philippines. But do you? I mean, are they just like that, or do you try to get them not to bark when it's not necessary?
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. No. And they come in at night. I mean, they're inside dogs. So
Hmm.
they're usually in the house for the night by 11 p.m. They go to bed by 11.
How long do you have them out when they're out in the backyard?
They just go outside for a few minutes and pee or poo and lay in the grass in the sun for
So
a few minutes. They're indoor dogs.
so these people must not have any kids or whatever because you
That
know
or there's some of the walkers that come through here, and I've done a better job. I did this because it irritates me.
yeah.
I know a lot of times in the evenings we have so many walkers. I shut my front door so the dogs can't see all the walkers, and the walkers have dogs. So
Yeah.
more people that go around our house that has dogs, and it excites our dogs. So, the last couple of weeks I've been shutting the front door because it's cold, and that hurts somewhat. But
Well, sounds like probably some cranky old person. I brought my son with me to the dentist once. I don't know what he was then, 4, and I brought him. So my dentist, unbeknownst to me, she's the owner of the facility. She never told me that I had found out, but she wanted to see him. So I brought him with me, and he's a happy kid. He loves everything and everybody. And this old bag that was having her teeth cleaned in the next room over, said that my kid made her feel uncomfortable.
well, fucker. I mean,
Yeah, I didn't give it, come
yeah.
on. I mean,
Well, we try hard to have a happy, and I told the officer that, look, well, he said, look, I pulled up and sat outside your house for a little bit, and I never heard your dogs. And so, and I'm like, okay, well, and then and I said, well, who was the neighbor? And then I got to the anonymous, and I thought about, I should go down this First Amendment thing and request all the records and do all this, but I thought, I'll just wait. But I told him, I said, well, I don't know what to tell you. They're dogs. They're gonna bark when somebody comes to the house, just like you did when you came to my house today. The police officer, they went after you because they don't like strangers. And he's like, no, that's understandable. And I said, so I'm not going to punish my dogs for guarding my house. That's what happened. And he kind of is like, well, we do have a city noise ordinance. And I said, well, I'll take that charge anytime you want. You just bring it on.
well, you know what, man? He was just
The cop was a very nice guy, very nice young man. Very nice.
he had to, as part of his job, he's got to, he probably thought, man, he's,
You could tell he thought it was stupid.
yeah.
Yeah, wasting his time.
If your dog barks at, you got walkers coming by the house, and maybe you got a full length screen front door there.
Yeah, I got a glass storm door that has. Yeah.
I think it's called a forever. But he can see, so.
Yep.
And there are other dogs. I've never seen it where a dog did not bark at other dogs.
Mm-hmm. Well, and so look, I'll work a little harder on keeping them a little quiet. Last night, and one of the problems is we have somebody in the neighborhood that takes their walk. They walk by my house at 11:05 p.m. every night.
Mm-hmm.
So, that is a little late for walking, but I don't know what to tell people. I mean, one neighbor has 4 geese in their backyard. The other neighbor has a Cocker Spaniel over there. There's another big German Shepherd over there. So I don't know which neighbor.
You know what? You make a soundtrack of the dogs in the Philippines bark and say which one's worse.
That's right. Yeah, you play it on the outdoor loudspeaker system.
Oh man.
Well,
I had my neighbor over here, this younger couple. They're probably in their 30s. They had a Chihuahua, I think. I don't hear it no more, but it'd be out there all day barking, and my hearing isn't that great anymore. And the other neighbor on the other side of me, she'd say, can't they shut that dog up? And I'm like, if this would have been me 40 years ago, I'd been, bitching about it too. But because the dog never stopped, man. I mean, all day.
Yeah.
Every minute that, you think you'd get tired of it. But not them little bastards, But I just told her, man, I said, don't bother me any because I can't hear it that good.
Well, ours could be a lot worse, so we'll see how it goes.
Well, I just think maybe them small ones are pissed. They got kind of in a shitty disposition there, they're small,
You got a little dog syndrome.
Yeah, they're not very masculine, so. Maybe that dog whisperer could talk to you.
Yeah, maybe, but our dogs aren't that bad. Our dogs want to just kind of hang out and sleep and be petted all the time. That's all they really give a crap about. So
After wagging their tail, usually they're all right.
yeah, I mean, the Philippines drove our girls crazy because there was so much noise,
Mhm.
and so every little thing, drove them crazy. So because they weren't used to all the loud noises, and then of course all the street dogs and
Well, yeah, them
there.
dogs, some of the dogs don't get any attention after they're a puppy over there.
Yeah, there was a time where in our neighborhood, we the little dump we rented did have a gate,
Huh?
and, there was another white guy in the neighborhood that had a Doberman Pinscher, a really pretty looking Doberman Pinscher. Where nice
Mm.
looking. But I don't know if he was German or American. We never spoke. He just looked, or maybe he's Australian. Kind of looked like me, but
The
just
white guy.
a white guy. Yeah. And it was so funny because this Doberman Pinscher, he would walk his dog, and a lot of times he would take it off the leash and just let her run, and it was
Uh,
pretty well behaved. But the street dogs would avoid it because it was a big dog. And so these street dogs, when it came through, they all kind of scattered and went, you know what I mean?
yeah.
But our little dogs, one time the gate was open and Daisy saw that the gate was open and saw that Doberman Pinscher come through.
Yeah.
Our dogs took off to go kick its ass, and it ran
Uh,
scared, yelping.
but the street dogs there, they're like poor people. They're just looking for something to eat. You know,
Yeah.
they're not a bad gang.
No, they're more like just
Yeah,
leave
yeah.
me alone.
They're
Yeah.
gonna they're not gonna make it on the 10 o'clock news.
No, but I don't know. It was funny. And then Lily had problems in the Philippines, our red wiener dog, with all the damn toads and the cockroaches.
Oh, gee.
You know, she even here in the United States, Lily will find a toad and want to play with it, but if they lick a toad, they get a little sick because it foams up in their mouth. The toads secrete I don't know what it's called. It's not a neurotoxin, but they create a chemical that makes dogs go they don't like it. But Lily isn't smart enough to learn after the 50th time not to do that.
It's, I had a lab shepherd, and it was the greatest temperament in the world labs have.
Yeah.
And he had the shepherd ears, so they kind of drooped, so kind of looked goofy. But he'd be in the backyard, and he got a bird one time, but he didn't kill it. He just brought it to you.
Uh,
You know? Yeah, he was a gentle soul. He loved water. I had a pool above ground. Like I think they're 48 inches high, and I'm running around the inside, and the dog barking because he wants some water,
yeah.
and he comes bolting over the side of it. I'm like, holy cow! And I
Yeah.
had one of these older ones where the system would get clogged up very easily from the hair and all that.
Yeah.
And I'm laughing at the same time I'm picking them, getting them out of the pool.
No, labs are good breeds. They really are. They're very good dogs.
Oh yeah, man. My that lab dog though, and my oldest son was young. He was running without his diaper on, and the dog nipped him.
We
And
have a visitor. Everybody say hi from Arizona.
he had to go get stitches, but I didn't remember that part. But I told his female.
Now let's get her. So do we think her first name is? Because I'm horrible with names. Are we saying it's Cynthia? Anybody want to comment? Johnson out of Arizona. Hey, I probably didn't pronounce how you say that or how you're saying it correctly.
Chi.
Chichii, maybe? Okay.
No, not E. Yeah, E's usually pronounced the I. So Chi.
We're very happy to have you here. Everybody make friends. Timmy, if you don't know, Timmy has live streams. Mr. Yank does live streams. Joe is a great supporter of all of us. So you can go through the chat and make friends with everybody. And everybody will do the same for you. But yeah, we appreciate you coming here. You're welcome to come up on the panel and make fun of us.
Probably be the first female ever done that on his live stream.
Nah, before we went to the Philippines, when we were doing live streams, we had quite a few females. But Lorelai was here, and they would, badmouth us men.
Yeah, I had 3.
Well, that's okay. But we're happy you're here. We will definitely check out your. Do you have a channel? If you do, you can drop your.
Saichi.
So.
That's how you pronounce her name, Saichi. Like
Wow.
Indian from India, Sai.
Saichi. Okay, nice. Thank you. I tell her people that I can't even speak English.
Well, I got this great granddaughter coming. As a matter of fact, what's the December 1st? This
Yeah,
baby.
happy birthday.
My grandson was. I'm 61, but I'll be great grandfather on Monday. Not Monday. A couple days. Her name is Sochil, but it's spelled with an X, XO something or other with a T.
Right.
So Sochil.
Oh, Joe's been kind enough to drop her YouTube stuff. So we're happy to have you. But Jerry, if you want to come up, you're welcome to come up. Anybody's welcome to come up. I'll throw the thingy back out there. And here's our question tonight is just to see what do you want to be remembered for? And then, the first question should be, if you're going to be remembered when you die, what do you want to be remembered for? So, yeah, Jared had his birthday a few days ago.
By the way, the U.S. was victorious today over Iran.
Yeah, I think Jared turned 99 the other day.
Who did? Who?
Jared.
Jared.
Turned 99.
Who did?
Well, read the screen. It was his birthday. His birthday was 2 or 3 days after mine.
Oh, okay.
That's what we're talking about. We're happy to meet you, Dave. Let's go, I'm Dave. Not everyone can drop. Bye, hi. I'm the only not. Okay. I didn't realize that, Joe. You know how it is in my brain.
Well, yeah, it's kind of twisted sometimes.
Oh, God. What is the question, young lady? What the question is? Well, after I put this up there, I thought, well, maybe I should have actually did something a tiny bit different. I should have asked, if you're going to be remembered, what are you going to be remembered for? What do you want to be remembered for is our question of the night. And hello there, my friend.
I thought it was an itchy thing.
No, that's the video.
Okay.
Man.
You were baiting me, man.
What's up?
Not a lot. How are you?
Oh.
Yeah.
It's rather chilly here today.
Oh,
Gray and chilly.
Oops.
Chile, what is Chile? How cold is Chile?
No, I mean it
Nipply.
it was only like 3-4 degrees, but there was so much mist in the air, so it made it, and windy, so it made it feeling much colder than it was.
Yeah, we got that wind going on right now.
Well, you got a windshield factory in the lake.
Yeah.
It's been
I know that one. I was at the big consumer fair some years back. I mean, I used to go every single January, and like third week of Jan, and we were in Chicago, at a downtown hotel by just like walking distance from the big conference center, and it was at the time the coldest day in the recorded history of Chicago with the wind chill factor. I kid you not. I was on the 6th floor of this hotel, and it felt like there was no window in the damn place. And just to walk like the 300 yards from the hotel over to the conference center,
Mm.
you know, your ears were like, if you had flicked them, they would have pulverized.
Mm-hmm.
We had back here in 1981, I think, 81, 82. We had in the month of January, there were a lot of days where it was, this is Fahrenheit now, it was minus 50 below.
Jesus.
And so that'd be about 100 and something Celsius. It was I had an engine started on fire. Oh man, I was in a garage with my friends. We had a torpedo heater and it was 85 inside the garage. But that was wicked. We've never had nothing like that
Coming
since.
coming from Norway, I obviously know what cold weather is like because I've been in like minus 41 degrees Celsius. You know, it's so cold that you have a hard time to even breathe. And if you have a hot bucket of water and you throw it up in the air, it comes down as snow. But
Yeah.
because of that wind and the humidity in the air by the dockside in Chicago, and it was sort of blowing in off the lake. It was blowing down from Canada, from the north. I mean, it made it feel probably 10, 15 degrees colder than it actually was. And I have to say, it's the coldest I have ever felt in my life. It was the same year as the last major earthquake was in LA, because
89 or 90 something.
yeah, because my partner was going to fly up and meet me at the conference. And it was the night before. He called me and said, turn on the news. And I turned on the news, and LA was burning. And he couldn't go there. So I flew down 3 days after from Chicago to LA. One of the first flights who actually landed at LAX afterwards. And we were sitting in our office with our accountants in Pacific in Santa Monica. And we got this aftershock of like 5 point something on the Richter scale, and my partner, my accountant, was just sitting talking through the whole thing, and I was like, "Fuck! Don't you guys feel that the whole building is moving?" They say, "Oh, we are used to that because our building was on this floating stuff anyway, so it was no danger." But it was. I tell you what, I mean. It was probably only lasting for 30, 40 seconds, but it felt like half an hour. I never felt anything like that in my life.
Yeah.
So, she has an answer to the question. So Mr. Yang said that, his goal to be remembered by would be to be a better father than his father.
I am.
Yeah, that's his. Hers is, for me, she wants to be remembered for being true to myself and being generous and helping those in need. I think that's great. I was telling them earlier.
Well, looking at that picture, I can think about one thing I'm in need of. Does she want to lend a helping hand?
Yeah, Gear's been up in that room for over a year now.
Yeah, you better be nice now. So, but I don't know what
I like generous women like that.
All right, behave now. So, but the part of the question is this: will you be remembered? So my big question is, what do you want to be remembered for? But the real question to come with that, of course, is will
By
you?
who?
But I don't know.
I a young man on one of my buses once, and I was having a crappy day. It's just his personality, just made me feel better, you know. So he'll be remembered like from me like that. And I'm sure he's touched other people's lives too.
I want to be remembered by all my previous infidelities. That for every other person they come across, they will just say, "Ah, was nothing like when I was with the headless."
Well, she said that she's out in Arizona and you're cold, so maybe that's a fit for you. You
Yeah,
know.
but her surname is Johnson. That
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
implies to me that there is a better half somewhere around as well.
Listen. And even in the desert at night, it gets cold. I've been in the desert for
I
2 weeks
thought
in
we were sending
Mexico,
you
and
to
it's cold.
Jakarta anyway. Weren't we sending you to Jakarta to meet up with Faisal? I thought that's what we were doing. I thought that was the plan.
What's that?
Who?
Yeah, I thought we were going to send the out to visit Faisal.
Yeah,
And
but I like my present unwrapped first, so I can see what's there. I don't want to go for a full commitment without
yeah,
without any money back guarantee at all. Any guarantees of refund.
Timmy's back in the house.
Who?
Are you a Filipino or who? What's your origin?
Timmy's Filipino.
No, I didn't ask Timmy. Saichi. I know Timmy is. So Timmy's back, by the way. She didn't abandon us. She puts up with us.
Chichi Johnson. Chichi is I can't.
Saichi.
Chi. I can't. What? It must be somewhere from the Far East.
Let's see.
With
Yeah,
that name.
she's hanging out in Arizona right now. This is how she says she likes it pronounced. Saichi.
Yeah, Chi.
We're always curious about where people are from. You don't got to give us your home address. Don't do that. But, general relative world that you live in, or where
Just,
you're
just give us which latitude.
from. I'm in Arkansas. Mr. Yank is up north, so and Joe is.
I'm in London.
You're in London.
Just outside London.
Joe's in Missouri. Timmy is in the Philippines. Timmy's actually working. She's probably one of the only few people, that actually work around that.
Okay.
So,
if I close my eyes, I'm in the Philippines as well.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Headless, what do you want to be here for?
Sorry?
Besides sleeping with women, what do you really want to be remembered for?
No, I didn't say I want to get remembered for sleeping with women. I said that I want to be remembered by my infidelities. So when they sleep with other men, they will remember what they will always remember what they could have had on a more permanent basis.
Here's what I know. If we would have known each other many years ago when we were a lot younger and healthier, we would have had a lot of fun.
Oh, no doubt, because I'll tell you on a private at some point what my previous legacy was. So
Timmy's
understand. We will have had a lot of fun.
Timmy's Filipina, but she's over in Malaysia working. She's an OFW, which is a hard life. I wouldn't want to be an OFW.
Are you in KL, Timmy, or in Penang, or where?
But we I don't know. You know, I understand.
No, I think I would like to get remembered by anybody who has been into my life as always being, honest, trustworthy, and maybe a little bit naive sometimes.
I just don't know what I would want to be remembered for, to be honest. And I don't think I will be remembered. And I say that because,
Well, we'll remember you.
well, for about 10 minutes. But what I mean is, look, I taught college for 25 years. I put blood, sweat, and tears into building programs and buildings and doing all kinds of really cool shit. I traveled the country lecturing and working hard for worker rights, for immigrant rights, all of that crap. But once you quit doing it, nobody knows who the hell you are. Or you go way out of the world.
You know what?
As we get older and, we kind of get down into a micro world. So I don't know.
I think I like to be remembered by those people's life that I personally had interaction with and touched, which made their life a better life, but because we had a relationship together.
David.
And the problem is that when you work for these big macro things that you want to for LGBTQ or whatever it is, for UNICEF or Red Cross, or it's not tangible for people. So you become one little piece in a huge goal organization or whatever. You have to almost have a one-to-one with somebody and have a positive impact on that person, a life-changing impact on that person's life for it to stick, if you know what I mean.
I agree. What were you going to say, Mr. Yank?
I forgot. Immigrant rights. Working.
Yeah.
When people get angry with that is people that are born here have a problem getting their rights. So when you show favoritism for somebody else, you don't even take care of your own first.
Yeah, that's not what I did. The immigrant rights I did and worked on, and I'm very proud of, was in relationship to safety in the workplace, both construction and general industry. Worked whether you're an illegal, which you shouldn't be working. But if you're legal or illegal, can't speak, read, or write, immigrants from any other country, Asia included, not just the Hispanic community. One thing I know in my world was a lot of immigrants were treated differently in the workplace than me. So they didn't get cut, or they didn't get the same level of safety from an OSHA standard a lot of times. So it's fine if you do research, and then I'll get off of this because I can go on for hours about this. But the deal is that most people that get injured are the less educated or the immigrants or people that don't know that are, I'll just say it like, and I used to say this in my lectures, the people that get injured the most in the workplace are not fat white guys like me. They're just not. They're not white guys like me. And that's just fact if you look at the data. Oh, the Saudi region of the Philippines. Okay. Well, that's what I did, Tony. I worked to say, look, I don't care. I don't like the fact that you're here illegally, but if you're here, you don't have the right to be killed on the job for $10 an hour just because you're an illegal.
Government don't care who's here because they get their money whether they're getting their payroll tax money from illegals too, because they use a fake name or whatever. It's still going in the system, so they're not they're not putting in much of an effort to give you the boot and send you back anywhere.
Well, the good thing for me, to be honest, was I worked with OSHA,
But
but I worked with a group of people from OSHA and the state of Arkansas that
it,
really didn't give a crap about the politics and the government stuff. They just cared about human beings. And our focus was, like what he was just saying, was touching the individuals and helping those people get to go home safely after a day's work.
you can't confuse those that don't know with ones that don't care. And the one, you know what I mean? Who gets hurt more? The ones that don't care or the ones that aren't shown? You know?
The ones that are not shown. Negligence.
Yeah, well.
No, seriously. It shows. It's the people that are not trained properly. The ones that don't care, they just don't do the work.
Listen. I worked in a machine shop, and their idea of being trained right was we made stuff for locomotive, yeah. So we had these plates that we had to drill I forget what size hole in it on a drill press, so you're manually bringing it down, and there was no fixture, no jig, you were left beholding it and hoping that if you tilted that a little bit, it was going to take off on you.
Right.
So that was their idea of showing you safety.
And that's horrible.
And as you may or may not have noticed, I'm a white male. So
yeah, but that's horrible on that. That's absolutely
yeah.
No, it is.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, and that's an OSHA violation.
Oh, sure, man.
I mean, a category. So.
But every time there was an OSHA inspection coming around, we knew about it.
Well, and that's sad.
So everything would be within safety lines and all this stuff.
Oh no. Look, I'll tell you the quick story. At a state college, technically does not follow under OSHA. Does not. State colleges are their own different board of education. Just different animal. But I used to host a lot of events at my college that were safety related, and I put on things. And we were having some work done. I swear to God. We were having a roof put on part of the building. And out of courtesy, I told our risk manager, and I invited him to the meeting and said, look, I'm having a meeting up here with some huge, very bigwig people in our region of OSHA and the state of Arkansas. And I mean, high people.
This is a joke.
And these people that are way up high on the food chain are going to be here. So you might want to just have the roofing company not do anything stupid while they're here. Well, guess what they did? They packed up and took off. So I got in trouble because the roofers disappeared for 2 days. Or they tried to blame me because I ran them off. But
yeah, that's the American way, though. It's always blame somebody else.
But all I did is that, hey, just make sure you clean up your mess, because the people that could greatly affect your multi-million-dollar roofing company.
They got this company up here called Kohler. The dude just died too, and he was responsible for bringing world-class golf tournaments here. Whispering whatever and all that shit. And he a guy worked for a guy that I knew worked at a company there. And this one worker was supposed to polish up, put a high polish on these chrome pieces, and there was a fixture for it, but this guy used to hold it in between his legs, which would have been bad news if it had, but that's the way he always did it. But if he'd have had a mishap there, and the company knew, he was doing it, and they're letting him do it.
Well, Timmy has a very interesting comment right here, and she said illegal workers in other countries has no security in their welfare and even at work. Yes, Timmy, because you start even the sentence with illegal. So if you are illegal, you don't have any rights for welfare or work.
We're bad enough as it is, but other
If
countries
you're legal, you are, but if
they
you are illegal, I mean, who you then you don't pay taxes, you are not registered. So who is then gonna pay for your welfare and all the other security issues that
Well,
all taxpayers are doing for?
they pay taxes over here. The government don't. They get theirs. They know shit. They let it go.
But you're right. You know, illegal workers are screwed in any country. I think.
Yeah, and so they should be, because if you are illegal, you are illegal. It says itself in the word, the definition of illegal.
I agree. I agree. That maybe she might be talking. Maybe she meant legal. Maybe she's talking about like OFWs.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
But anyway, let's get back to the proper tactic. Otherwise, this could go off the rails here real fast.
What do you want to be remembered for?
Yeah.
Want to be remembered that you bought a pack of batteries and all of them were dead, or the cops?
Oh my God! Hey, now that you mentioned a battery thing, I was at the grocery store the other day, and I saw these. I don't know how much double A's or triple A's. It's like $22.
Yeah, they're expensive.
Oh my God!
Four double A's in a pack here, we should typically buy 4 in a pack. Yeah. And
Yeah.
any proper brand, you know, is probably about
They're $8 here.
Yeah.
they're about 12. I mean, they're about 7, 8 pounds here, so that's probably about $12. And then you can get those that just dies on you before you take them out of the package, which are probably only cost like $5 or $6, but they're useless.
Demi says they pay taxes under the table. Laugh out loud. They pay way too expensive.
Hey, I saw a show on the people that live in Tawi, you know, the what do you call it, that's closer to Malaysia, you know, Philippine island. And these guys are just so screwed down there because there is, you know, they go to Malaysia legally to go to work, and then they get booted out because in Malaysia they get paid more than they do in the Philippines.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me just finish this thing with Timmy. Okay, Timmy, you know, the reason why they pay taxes, and when you say under the table, it means it goes in somebody's pocket, and it's more expensive than you as a legal worker, is because they are illegal. So if you're going to be able to work illegally in a country, doesn't matter where it is, if it's America, Philippines, in Thailand, in Norway, Sweden, Denmark, wherever, yes, you have to pay somebody for them to take the risk of give you the job.
No, they're not under the table there, Timmy. They get paid to the government, but they do it by a fictitious name or social security number. That's why they don't care too much about that.
Yeah, Timmy, how it kind of works in the United States, if you don't know, you know, a company has to pay what we call workers' comp insurance. So if they're legal, then they go on the books, and companies have to.
The company has to pay social security.
So right, and so there's a lot of things that a legal company has to pay for a legal employee. That's the incentive of hiring illegal workers, and which is totally illegal here in the United States, but it happens every day of the week.
You're not going to get the same.
If I employ a person I'll just take a round figure. If I employ a person for $10,000 $10,000 as an example here in the UK, it actually ended up costing me as a company $12,200 because we paid 22% on top of the worker's salary to the government.
Yeah. Good example. That's perfect. Exactly. And that's the incentive for illegal workers. What I did in my career was try to get people to understand that the value of human life. So my deal wasn't what was legal and illegal. My deal was I wanted those workers, whether they were legal workers or illegal workers, whether they were management or the bottom of the rung, understand what their rights were from an OSHA safety standpoint so that they could go home at the end of the day. I didn't give a crap about the politics. But I went through all that. I saw some horrible stuff. I mean, it was amazing.
Hey,
The honest truth is we have a problem with value of life versus profit. Companies will put profit over humans any day of the week.
Yeah, but they have done that back to they have done that back to Christ, nothing different in the 12th century, the 400th century, or whatever.
you know what? Safety first in here is something. It's just a slogan most of the time. A lot of companies don't give a shit. They just want to put that up there. So when OSHA comes in or somebody comes in there and sees that, oh yeah, these guys practice safety. They got the signs all over the place.
Yeah, but if you're smart like me, you could tell.
But anyway,
when you make a contract or whatever, even on like a disclaimer on a website or whatever, you put, companies put their terms and conditions and disclaimers normally, in a 72-page document. They put it at the bottom or try to hide it, yeah. But we always put the disclaimer in big, fat, bold, uppercase on top of every terms and conditions and disclaimer, because then we know for a fact that like there is 3% of people who read terms and conditions and disclaimers. So, people can't come and say that we didn't understand it or we didn't read it or anything when they have clicked and accepted the terms and conditions and disclaimers, because it's there like Philippine American couple at the top of the damn document. And then we say, hey, when the regulatory or consumer council or whatever comes and say, hey, we got all these complaints, whatever, and we say, hey, look at this, we have confirmation that they say that they have read over terms and conditions and disclaimers, and it's in bold capital letters at the first page of the document. So if they don't read, or if they are lying to us that they have read it and accepted it, then what can we do?
Yeah. One thing I did, and companies paid me, the money for this, was what I was able to do is some companies, small ones especially, I got them to understand that if they took, and we'll get back to a normal topic, but if they took safety seriously, I could put money in their pocket. So you had to show, because it's all about the money. So there are ways that you can actually put safety first and make money for the company. And that's what I taught companies to do and young people. But yeah, it's all clickbait. So it's all crazy, workers, but I worry about, the OFW, even here in the United States. We know a few people that are immigrant workers here in the U.S. And I think maybe they have it better than they did in the Philippines, but I don't know if they really do. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's any better to be an
I like,
OFW here
I
than
like, I
just
like when illegal workers here and they want the same rights that the workers have.
But there is nothing wrong with immigrant workforce, because in England, in many countries, we need it for agriculture, we need it for as seasonal workers, we
Mhm.
need it after England went out of EU. You know, we now have trouble getting people to the
Yeah.
catering business. We have problems getting the people to the hospitality business. Everything. There is over 1 million vacant jobs in the UK at the moment for
Yeah.
drivers, lorry drivers, because we used to have them all from Poland, Czechoslovakia, Bulgaria, Romania, and all over the place. So now we're going to take a whole generation to train British drivers to get up to the standard. So that is again pressing the prices up on all transportation costs and everything, which is the end of the day, all companies'
Yeah.
expenses are getting paid and picked up by the consumer.
You
So
get
And you got to make it worth those new drivers. You got to make
yeah,
it worth it to them because it's going to
truck
raise
drivers
the
from
money.
Ireland here.
yeah, because they need to get paid more than the social security fucking benefits are here. And you know, the whole thing is that everybody wanted to go out of EU was like this nationalistic thing in the UK, because everybody was sick and tired of all the Polacks and this and that and whatever, which was coming over here and working. Now we have a huge problem getting enough nurses, getting people into the health
Yeah.
care industry and everything, because now the Portuguese and this and that is not coming here anymore, because they have to go through all this other malarkey that they didn't have to go through when you were a member of EU. It all was because, you know, they were stealing or taking money away from the uneducated Brits. But the uneducated Brits doesn't want to work because they get paid on the dole from the government. So it's
Now,
just
I
stupid.
I have a question, and this will probably take us down a rabbit hole. But first, Joe wants to recognize the fact that we're having bad storms in the southeast here, and Hawaii has a volcano that's erupting. Nobody is in danger, but there's a volcano. But here's my question, and I love the origin of words. I don't. I'm fascinated by a word and why that word is that word. So why is it that trucks are called lorries? I don't know. I know that's
Because American English is a bastardized English from England, and you know, you have made up some terms. For example, we don't have sidewalks in the UK. We have pavements, because you know, and there was a comedian who explained this pretty fucking cool. He said, are Americans so stupid that you have to tell them that you shouldn't walk down the middle of the road but on the side of the road, so we call it sidewalk?
yes,
And you know, we don't have we have lifts, we don't have elevators.
yeah, and I get that because a lift lifts, but
Yeah. So I
lorry,
mean, we have there is a lot of original words which has been kind of dumbed down in the transformation of the American English language.
right? But what is a lorry?
Sorry, because that's what it is in English.
That's what I mean.
Sidewalk, that sidewalk is pavement. I don't know. So they say here that, well, Americans couldn't bloody understand that a pavement is a pavement. So they have to call it a sidewalk to make sure people didn't walk in the middle of the street.
I'll have
They
to
have to
do,
walk on the side.
I'll have to do some googling because usually for me, words kind of have like a Will Smith. So somebody is a Will Smith, and so their last name becomes Will Smith or blacksmith, and then maybe it gets shortened to Smith or whatever. So there's usually an origin that has it's like a lift, an
Yeah,
elevator, a lift.
There are a lot of people
Lips.
way back where blacksmith or a Mercado is like a grocery store.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Mercado comes from Spanish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's
Yeah.
what I don't. Yeah, it does. But they have
No,
they're
I mean, a lot of
Mercado.
English, there's a lot of English words. I mean, remember one thing that the English official dictionary has about 78,000 words in it, and we have many different words for the same meaning, but set in a different context. Yeah.
Yeah.
While the Norwegian language, as an example, has only 36,000 words. So the English language is the most nuanced and intricate language in the world.
Yeah.
And because when that comes to America, and because America was not just British, it was or by English, it was become the major language. It had so many immigrants from Italy and or from all over the place. It kind of dumbed down because it's obviously easier to write and say and understand sidewalk than there is to understand and spell and write pavement.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the way. So
I agree with you there.
out,
It makes a
out
lot
of
of sense.
out of necessity, I think they dumbed down the Oxford English, so to speak.
No, I totally agree with you. And using sidewalk is a perfect example of that. When you have a community of many, many different cultures or languages or variations of language, and you got to explain something in the simplest way, you're right. Sidewalk. You walk.
So what do you have? What do you have? What do you have in your face at the moment? What's this?
Glasses.
Glasses, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting because you said that you had glasses, yeah, which is English. In most Americans say eyeglasses, like obviously there are eyeglasses because they are in front of your eyes. You see, same as sidewalk. Why would you say eyeglasses? Because where else are you going to use the glasses? I mean,
Right, because they're in front of my eyes. If they were
yeah.
they were up here,
So it was quite interesting that you didn't use the typical American term for glasses as eyeglasses. You actually said glasses, which is the English way of saying it.
Well, maybe I have a better upbringing. I don't
Well,
know.
maybe you're better educated.
Trying not to offend anybody, But I like Joe. I like what Joe is saying here, and I do think this is funny. That we have gardens in our backyards. So our backyard has it's not the garden, but there's a garden in the backyard. But
What? We have gardens in the backyards.
in America,
Yeah.
okay, in America,
Now there in the UK, call your yards garden. We call it, or the front lawn or the back lawn. Because some people, we have a front garden and a back garden.
right? We have gardens are small. You've been here. They're small little patches inside of the yard. So a garden may be a flower
But
bed.
we never use the yard. We don't use yard for those type of things. When we talk about the yard, we're talking about like an industrial. A yard for us is like an industrial place where you put shitloads of equipment or cars or whatever. Nobody say that you have a yard on your private property.
So we do. It's like I'm gonna let my dogs go out in the yard. My dogs are out in the yard. Yeah, that's just common slang here. Scotty is in the house. Everybody say hi to Scotty. Scotty, say hi to everybody. Scotty, you're
Hey,
welcome
Scotty.
to join. Scotty's getting ready to go to the Philippines, I think. What did you say? In January, if I remember right, Scotty? So,
Scotty.
but yeah, I love the origin of words. For me, in my simple brain, words should reflect what the action is. You know what I mean? That's kind of my simple brain. But that's me. I'm always curious about things.
And I think there is even a lot of words in English which have kind of a little bit of a Latin swung to it as well.
Yeah. No, there is. And I don't know. It's but the word lorry always confused me because I get a loft or a flat. That kind of makes sense as a place to live, you know. But I just don't know enough about the origin of the word, what it meant at one. Was it made?
We don't use flat as much here. We more use apartments.
Okay. And you guys don't have condominiums at all, right?
Flat to call.
Yeah, well, we don't really say condominiums here at all. That's kind of an American.
Well,
We say
yeah.
we say block of flats.
Okay. We don't really say condominiums either. We just say condos.
Or condos, yeah.
We're lazy. We shorten the word.
Yeah, tell you, when I was over there this past January, I didn't think anything or have any thoughts of here. Absolutely none. Nope. Nothing about politics, nothing about any of that shit.
No, because it's hard to have those talks and discussions with somebody in Butuan.
But it's good because I get so tired of that shit here, man. When I go there, I work all my life to get to a point where I don't have to, I don't have to partake in.
I spoke to somebody earlier today in the Philippines, and that person thought Brazil was in Europe.
Right.
Well,
No, and Tony, look, I get where you're coming from. I really do. And I wish, to be honest, I wish I was in the same place as you. I really do. I wish I was in the same place as you. But I think you got to have the right mentality to be in the place that you're in. And if you're happy with that and that's what you enjoy and that works for you,
hey,
great.
Their land, their rules. I'm just a guest. And
right.
I'm living like one too.
Well, I never thought the Philippines should change.
No, I
would never do anything that they, because it's not my place.
No, but Tony, you get your weekly sanity when you are talking with Robs and whatever. So, and the rest of the weeks, you can just turn off and rest the brain cells.
Yeah, I've been so into that, up on it for so long that I'm tired of it. I'm just tired of it. So let the younger guy pick up the frickin' torch because I'm done with that.
Bill, it's good to see you. You guys, good to see you guys. Bill saying hi to everybody from Check Out the Rallies. Well, and I agree with you. If you're to that point, I think the Philippines is a fantastic place.
What I don't like from foreigners that live there or going to live there is they try to make it like it is here, and it wouldn't be there if it were like here. There'd be no point in even going anywhere else.
Yeah, but Tony, that's the same problem we have with all Islamic or immigrants to Norway, as an example. The Pakistanis, this, that, and the other. They refuse to integrate into our culture, and they want to build their mosques, and they still don't want to teach. I mean, I have people I know in Norway where they have been living there for 40 years. My friends are, second generation, born Pakistanis in Norway who speaks fluently Norwegian, but the wife of their mothers, which has been living in Norway for 40 years, still can't speak a single word of Norwegian.
Yeah, I've experienced that personally. My friend's mom was Greek, and she was here at that time, was 40 years, and she could not comprehend or speak. She'd always rely on somebody else to do it for her. But like when my grandfather and them came here, they had no welcome centers. They had no programs. You're on your own. But nowadays it seems to be popular to be a minority and not. And here in my state right here, we have a welfare system. Well, we have a it's called UMOS. It's what it is it's a Spanish welfare center. It's funded by the state and government, so they gotta have certain programs. But it's become. I had a friend that I worked with, and he was Spanish heritage, but born here. And he told me once. He said, I said, you've been American longer than me. What do you mean? He didn't feel like he was an American. He always felt like an outsider. And to that, I said to him, as long as you act like an outsider, people will treat you like an outsider.
Well, but there's a huge difference. There's two components to this, and this is for every country. Every country, you do have the government influence, but then you also have just simply Chinatown, or parts of Chicago, Los Angeles, New Mexico, Arizona. That's heavenly, whatever that culture is. So people from other countries, whatever country they go to, do not want to give up their own culture. And I know you
also forget that America is, a friend of mine house is 400 years older than America as a nation here in England. You know what I mean? So you are a country of immigrants, from all over the place. So it's different dynamics.
But I agree with you, Tony, that the guys that want to change the Philippines or change Thailand or change Southeast Asia or I don't care, Africa, they shouldn't go. If you want to change anything, don't go wherever it is to go.
I see so many of these guys, and they bitch and moan about this and that, and they talk down to Filipinos. Don't do this, they do that, and it's just and these people that are saying it are just pieces of crap to begin with.
Yeah, but Tony, those people who go and act like that in another country outside their own are exactly the same people who do the same shit where they come from.
Yeah.
I can tell you from extensive traveling around the world for many years. I used to travel over 200 days a year for 20 years. I've been to 80 plus countries, and some of them numerous times. And the people who end up in trouble in Bangkok, in Manila, in KL, in Singapore, in LA, in New York, in Rio de Janeiro, or wherever, in Paris, wherever you say, are the exact same people who end up in trouble back home.
Yeah, bitchers are bitchers, period. People that bitch and whine are going to bitch and whine anywhere they go.
Exactly. So people say, people who end up in trouble, I have very, very, very seldom in all my trouble and all the people I met around the world in all different cultures and countries, all over the different continents, very, very few people which take certain precautions and just are polite and nice and understand a bit about culture and whatever. They never end up in any trouble. It's the troublemakers at home who ends up in trouble when they go abroad.
But but I do think there's a difference between the people that like to bitch and the people that want to have intellectual stimulating conversations about things. So I think those are two different animals. And maybe I'm on this side where I like to have, conversations discuss things, understand things. And if it comes off like bitching, well, then it comes off like bitching.
Hey,
But to grow and to learn, to be able to grow, you have to learn and study and figure things out. You know, my personality is not the type where I just go and do nothing. I want to be active, especially in the brain.
if,
So
if
I think it's great to have conversations.
when I was living, when I'm there, I don't care to have a discussion about shit that happens here or how other people think stuff should happen there. I have no desire in entering a bullshit conversation like that. They can do it all they want here in America. I don't want any foreigner coming up to me and telling me how this ain't like this and this ain't like that. Because I'll tell them, why don't you go to frickin' back where you came from if you don't like it here? You know? Well, I do, but I ain't what I'm saying. Yeah, you are. I don't want that crap. You know, I don't want it. And I'll tell you that too. If you sit next to me and wanted to discuss how this isn't the same as it was better where I'm from, then go frickin' back to where you're from.
I agree with you, Tony.
I agree with you too. There's a difference, though. What I'm trying to tell you is somebody who's just bitching about it versus saying, hey, did you realize that, you know, when you order a Coke here, you get 6 ounces. In America, we get like a 30-ounce one, you know? So versus going, you know, this versus the bitch side of this is going, you know, when I get a fucking Coke here, man, I get like fucking 3 ounces. In America, I get like this much. There's a difference in how it's being presented and talked about. Just keep that in mind. Or maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. What do you guys think? Am I wrong?
Yeah, I don't know. I got to think about it.
Because that's what I'm
Well, I mean, everything in America is bigger, but look at the people as well. I mean, you know, you go to a Walmart. I mean, for some reason, I don't even know how autonomy and how they can be shaped like that, because some people are wider than they are tall.
But it goes the same no matter what country. And I mean, you know, you know.
So the obesity in America is.
Yeah, but obesity.
You know what? There are three things in the army you're known. You're either slender, medium, or obese. One of the three.
I'm probably characterized as obese as well, but I mean, there was something, you know, here people get like fat, they get like a stomach. But in America, they don't just have stomachs, but they grow out in this end and this way. And I mean, it's just like.
Talking about a rabbit hole.
You just get bigger. No, I'm the type of guy that way. You know, I'm not necessarily like, ooh, I'm just, you know, I'm like a big old block of ice. I get it, you know. But Bill says it sounds like we're a bunch of grumpy old men.
Yes, we are. Yeah, boring. That's why I called all of us guys a couple of years ago when we all were hanging together. I come up with the name Bobs.
You know,
boring old bastards. That's what it stands for.
You know, if you're having a conversation with somebody and you know what they mean by either in jest, they'll say, "Oh, you know, electricity so much here. Why is it so much?" They don't know how to do this. And you have your little bit of a laugh, and then that's it. But the asshole guy will harp on that over and over and over.
I agree.
You know, it's just I see guys have their channels, live streams, and all they talk about girls like they were like women there, like they were there for the pickings to do whatever they will. You know.
Well, hey, you know, here's what I'm going to do for you, because I agree with you. I hate and what amazes me, and Joe and I talk about this, what amazes me, the channels where people are bitching and calling people names and doing stupid crap are huge. Or if you got boobs that you can show, you know, then you got a great channel. So here's what I'm going to do for my next cooking video. I'm going to do it, and I'm going to tag it. I'm cooking, let's say, lumpia, making lumpia without a bra.
Well, you know, yeah, you could do that too. They got a lot of fine ones on there with just the apron on them anymore.
Well, there you go. I'll just do it with an apron. Maybe I'll get, you know, a bunch of hits. So,
Cover your Johnson, you're good. But I will not when I'm there. I have not, will not ever let some freaking turd ruin my shit on my parade there, because
and you shouldn't do that anywhere. You
I'm
shouldn't.
relaxing. I don't need this. I don't need. If I wanted that, I'd come back here.
You shouldn't. But even in the Philippines, you can have a lot of drama. So, but you shouldn't let anybody shit on your parade anywhere you go.
People, you will.
Like what Scotty in here.
You will find people being more generous and dealing with assholes more than they should. But you won't, unlike, but you're you're welcome there if you take a holier than thou Western attitude and you try to transplant it over there.
Scotty says it depends on what you want out of life. Some people are happy making 20 grand a year.
And honest to God, if somebody came up to me over there that I didn't, there was another foreigner, and I didn't know him, they started going off on shit, I would either
just remove yourself. You don't want to deal with it, just deal with it.
Honest to God, man, you know what? If my calm words don't calm them down, then I'm gonna bust them in their shit, because I don't want to.
Well, then you're an American.
I don't want.
You're thinking about the bitching guys. So
Don't. So anybody out there that ever runs into me, don't talk like that. Because I've always been the kind of person where I will defend when I know somebody well enough. I'll defend them against somebody that's talking shit about them all the time, don't matter who it is.
And Tony, that's the great thing about life. And the wonderful thing about Facebook and YouTube, if you don't like what somebody does, you can just simply turn it off. And in real life, if you don't like somebody's views or points, you just don't have to hang out with them.
You can block them.
Yeah, that's what
on the computer, I'm talking about if somebody came up to me and, in person.
Well, that's okay. You just go your own way. Say,
well, I'm not going my own way is going over there. When I'm there, I don't want anybody bringing any of that Americanized bullshit along with them.
Well, and that's okay. I mean, is it only American bullshit, or would it be the Korean bullshit, or the China bullshit, or the
I'm completely happy there, and I'm
because I know the Koreans that bitched and complained like you couldn't believe.
I know.
And so
you find that in every culture, any country around the world. It's a common thread through any society.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think you're doing great, Tony. You just find your own little and you'll be set, man, and you'll be there in no time.
They don't have it to the degree that we do. Not in the Philippines, I'm talking. Between here and there.
About that what do we call it in the Philippines? Chismes?
Chismes.
Jesus Christ.
I always laugh, I get a lot of visitors coming to see me here in England, and as well also from back home in Norway. And a typical Norwegian thing is that they come to London and the first thing they ask me is, which pub do all the Norwegians congregate at? And I look at them and I say, well, are you traveling from Oslo to London to actually find a pub where this is just full of fucking tourists that you know back home?
That's the stupid way.
Chris was when I used to go on Chris's shows, and he was telling us once that there was a group of foreigners that had this group, and they'd get together, and all these guys would do was bitch and moan about the way things are there. And I had somebody tell me that once, and I was laughing at him. You got to be kidding me,
The therapeutic outlook. What am I talking about? Outlet for them. Maybe it's kind of like the same thing. Sometimes we get together and we complain about our wives a little. We love them to death.
No, that ain't this kind of thing. No, this ain't this. No, it's the kind of people that come from the West and they go over there and they bitch about how things are.
Yeah, but you get people from Asia that come here and bitch about how things are here. So it happens everywhere, and you just isolate yourself from that and be happy and build your own world.
Yeah.
You know, and
Well, I always found it interesting that a bunch of people travel from Oslo to London, and the first thing they always ask me is there any pubs on
Yeah.
Oxford Street where
Yeah.
the Christians normally go to? And I just look at them and I say, "Well, are you coming to London to
Yeah.
something new, your culture, whatever?" Because those people you meet in those 2, 3 pubs where the Scandinavians are congregating or Norwegians are congregating, you'll see them, in Oslo. So why bother traveling to England to see them? I mean, go and see something different. Explore English
Yeah.
culture.
Exactly. I mean, what's the reason for go? If anybody wants to go to another country just to go to a bar where people like themselves are from, why'd you go?
well, and that's it. The last food I want to eat when I travel worldwide is American. Give me anything else, I'll try it. I don't want to eat American hamburgers when I'm in wherever. I don't want to do that. I want to eat. So you want to embrace the culture that you're in without question. That's the only way to enjoy it. But there's a lot of people, and the only thing that, what I'll tell you, what I think, there are a lot of guys, and I'm just going to say there has-beens or deadbeats. And I've talked about this in another video or two. There's a lot of guys from Western countries that go to third world countries because they can't hack it in their own American country or Australia or Germany or wherever they're from. They can't make it there. So they got to go find a third world country where they can be king of their own little imaginary land and feel like big people because they know in America nobody gives a shit about them. They're worthless, they're deadbeats, they're drug addicts, they're alcoholics, they're whatever they are. Scotty is going. Scotty, we appreciate you, my friend. Take care. Let us know if we can do anything to help you.
I mean, most people who go to third world countries to see, they don't really go for the heat or the warmth or whatever. There was something attracting them, and number one is that their bucks last longer, so they can have a relatively better lifestyle than they have back home where they go from. And that's like the number one, because of when pensioners or guys getting retired or whatever go to a third world country, because hey, would you like to sit in a 15 or 1200 shithole in New York, or do you want to pay $200-300 for a 2-bedroom villa in a nice area in the Philippines? So their money goes longer. That's why they go to a third world country. Because if you go for the weather, you don't need to go to the Philippines or Thailand or whatever. You can go to, and if you don't particularly like America, I mean, you can go to many South American countries or other places, Spain, Portugal, but that's not cheap, so they can't afford to go there, So that's number one. Number two is obviously that a lot of men, when they get to a certain age, it's not that easy to date anymore, and the only way they can, and because of the culture and where age gap relationships are widely accepted, is in some of those countries. So that's the second. So maybe the first is from a money perspective. The second is from a relationship perspective. Very few go to another country, in a third world country, to actually start a business or just move there. I mean, they might move there because their wife or whatever is from there, but there is a reason why they go to that particular country.
You remember
You
You
don't.
remember when you were young, you didn't have a care in the world because you had no bills, you had no pressures, you had no nothing, and how beautiful everything was and how happy you were. That's how I feel when I'm there again.
Well, that's great.
Yeah, and that's perfect for you, Tony.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's
got
it.
Bill has been in the Philippines quite a while now. Bill, why do you think expats from wherever come there? What's their primary goal? Is it the cheaper living or is it the women? Which are the two, or maybe both? But
Both.
yeah, or all of the above. But and I think that's great. You got to be in the right mindset. I'll flatly tell you, well, we're
Then, because that is your major two concerns why you go there, then you have to live with inadequate governments, with potholes in the street, with bad internet, because those are the trade-offs,
Yeah.
and you should know that before you go there in the first place.
Mhm.
yeah.
You should know that there is always out of stock, that
Yeah.
there are bureaucracies of what takes you
Well,
1 hour online in America takes you 3 days and 5 different
Oh,
offices in the Philippines of handwritten paperwork. And if you can't tolerate that,
yeah.
then you should.
There's exactly the slower the better, man. I'm not alone when I'm getting slow internet. Everybody's getting it. I'm not alone standing in line waiting for a certain item because everybody is, and I got time because I don't have to work anymore. So it doesn't. None of that stuff stresses me. If like I can only get one thing done a day in the Philippines, that's fine with me. I'm good with that. I can handle it.
here's
I
the
think
mistake. Here's the mistake I think a lot of people make when they go to the Philippines. A lot of guys, let's just use the number of $1,000. Let's say somebody has a retirement income of $1,000 a month. They go to the Philippines or Thailand or any other third world country thinking, okay, I'm going to have so much more money. What they miss is they still only have $1,000. Now, you may be able to stretch it further in a third world country if you live native. But if you're going to try to live the way that you would want to live back home, you still only have $1,000. You don't have $3,000.
Yeah, and what's most people's definition of living easy? I don't think the majority of people here have any idea what just getting by over there is.
Well,
Because hey, let me tell you, I could go into anybody's house. Matter of fact, we went into one of my wife's aunt's house, and in that house, I could look and see the sky between the wall and the ceiling. Most people here that I know, they would freak out over that. But when you look around and everybody's they're living like everybody else lives anywhere else in the world, and you don't sit there and start going, how can you live in this shithole? Sometimes all somebody's got to do is keep their mouth quiet and observe, and maybe then they would understand more.
let's welcome the young man in the house.
Hey, what's happening?
There he is.
How you guys doing?
Hey,
So are you back home in the PH land, or are you still overseas?
Nah, I'm still on vacation here in Hawaii.
Ah, okay.
Hawaii. Ooh.
So what do you think about our topic? Well, we've been all over the ditches.
Or gee.
What
Hey, I'm
what's
having
your
a little bit of trouble hearing you, Dave.
me?
Yeah, I don't.
yeah,
I don't
but
know
you
why.
have a bit of an echo in your room. I don't know what's your name, sir?
Me, Bam.
Yeah.
Bill.
Sorry.
You can call me Bill or Bam. Bill.
Oh, Bam. Yeah, you have quite a lot of echo in your room and your microphone.
Yeah, I'm trying to look to see why. And
You got it Filipino style.
no, actually, I'm in Hawaii at my friend's house right now. So
No, but
all this is good American stuff here.
yeah, but they turn up the microphone. They love that treble. They don't believe in bass or mid-range.
Oh,
Vam, you can go on StreamYard, you can go on settings, and then when you see or on the microphone, and there is one so you can do noise cancelling setting on it, and that normally works better.
I experienced that once.
That's what I got. The echo canceling.
Yeah,
better.
that's much better.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me okay now? Or
Much
is it...
better. Much better.
I actually had the speaker thing. I didn't have it on bypass, so I had craziness on the mic. So
Bill, can you hear my voice? Or am I the only, or are you
you're
the only?
still kind of low to me. I don't know if I need to just turn you up in the.
Can everybody
I
else
was
hear
on
me?
my phone when I was watching this over laying down, and then to come up, I get on the computer.
I can hear all of you perfect.
Okay. I probably can't. I turned up my speaker, so I wasn't hearing your question. So
the question? Oh hell, what was the question, guys?
yes.
Well, you started with when I got in. You started with
Oh, yeah.
what do you want to get remembered for, and by whom?
So that's the question, Bill. So here's the premises. The question is, one, what do you think you will be remembered? Two, what do you want to be remembered for?
And 3, who do you want to be remembered
By.
by?
That's right.
Right. Well, I have 4 young boys or young men, and everything that I do is for them, for that part of my life. Whatever lessons I teach them, good and bad, I hope to pass it on to them. Lessons that I've learned from my father, from my grandfather, and I hope that kind of stuff is remembered. I definitely would love for some of my mistakes I've made through the years. I like for them to kind of forget those, but other than that, I'm not too. I'm not a person that really cares about like what people thinks of me and what the world thinks and all that kind of stuff. They either like you or you don't. It's no big deal. So, but for me, it's all about my children, my boys, and for them to pass it on to their children one day when they end up having families. So, did I cover it all in that?
You get an A minus.
Okay.
Well, I just think, it's and what we were talking about earlier, it's kind of like a macro and a micro setting. I think microly is how we're going to be remembered. Like, the Headless Horseman was saying earlier, when you touch one-on-one with somebody, that's where you make a huge difference.
Right.
But globally, none of us are probably going to make a hell of a beans difference when it comes to the macro side of things, the large picture. Because we're not president, we're not this, we're not that.
Right.
And even
you will to some more than you'll know. You will. It's just that who knows how many it'll reach, but you being on Earth and being who you are, you've left an impression with many people. Hopefully in the good side. I would think it'd be the good one. That's what I get. But
But I mean, I think the amount of people, Tony, that you actually, as an individual, as you have that you have an influence over, is limited to the amount of your social ability, how many people you actually are interacting with, how if you are a hermit or if you are a very active person. So
I understand that. I understand all that, but my point is, even if it were 2 people or 2,000 or 2 million, you've still changed somebody, or you helped them. So in turn, they might help out maybe the same amount or double the amount. Who knows?
Yeah, well, then you get an MLM. Then you get the pyramids. You know, you teach two people to do something good, and they teach two
Uh,
people,
hey,
and you know, and then it grows
I
eventually.
tell you something very cool that happened to me when I retired. I went to a short time after that of a coworker of mine. We went out to eat, and we were sitting there talking, and there was a guy and his son. They just happened to be in like two booths down to my left, and they could see us, and they heard us talking about my retirement. And the guy and I happened to be looking in his direction, and he said, "Oh, congratulations!" You know, I thought, "Oh, yeah, thank you." And after he left with his son. This dude was about probably in his early 40s. The kid looked like it was 10. And the waitress came up to us, and we said, "Well, how much is our, could we get our check?" He said, she told me that the guy that just left paid for it.
Mhm.
And I felt like doing that for somebody too, because it,
And we
you know,
got,
like,
Forward.
yeah, our bill was like maybe $15, and I thought to myself, well, $15 ain't such a bad, it ain't such a, huge amount anyway.
yeah.
But I was, and he told her, don't say nothing till after I've left.
Mhm.
So my friend and I, a few weeks after that, we did that too.
Yeah, it's good. I've had it happen, and we've done it in different ways. Been to the grocery store, somebody that's a little short on change. Well,
And I also had I have military license plates on my cars. And this old man, I bet you, he's probably Korea. He looked like he could have been older. But I look to my right, and he gives me the salute thing, you know.
hmm
And he kept his hand there until I did it.
yeah,
He had his hat on. You could see, I think he was a Navy guy. But those are about the only two times that I really felt, respected.
hmm.
And that was a special moment, and I'll never forget that.
Well, that's a good question. How about the other two gentlemen, or anybody else in the chat? Is there a time when you went, "Oh wow," like he just said, I felt respected? I can think of 1,000 times, but my career is different.
When I had that happen to me, I thought, I'm nobody special. Why would somebody like that? Why would somebody do something like that for me? You know?
Anybody else? What do you think? You got a story about being respected?
Oh, many times in different
Oh,
settings. But remember,
well,
I had a very
Gira, tell them that. Talk about respect. That's kind of on the other side of it. But if you remember that story you told us a long time ago when you were at a bar,
oh, okay.
yeah, tell them that.
When I went to London, Norway is more like sort of a equal society, sort of probably one of the countries where socialism slash capitalism is merged together for the benefit of all. So it's not that big difference, and it's not only two parties. There is a bunch. So a typical thing in Norway is that you should be. It's okay to be rich, but don't show it to your neighbor. I mean, if you're a billionaire, you shouldn't turn up and be extravagant. It comes from the old days when Norway wasn't very wealthy, and now we are the second wealthiest country per inhabitant in the world. But England, and so there was no classes in Norway. For example, there was no private schools or anything. Everything was sort of there shouldn't be a distinction for some kids could buy better education than other kids, which was worse off. I mean, it was kind of a leveling sort of community. There was no private hospitals years ago and whatever have you. But in England, everything is very built on class, just like India. If you are from a different caste than another caste, but England is a hierarchy that with lords and lairds and sirs and all these titles, and private schools, and people look down on you if you go to a public school rather than a private school and all this. So I get to London, and I moved one of my businesses here, but I'm an East End boy. I'm a down to earth. I come from nothing, and I had my old friends or whatever. So I met this guy, and we've become friends. He was a guy. He was a lord from an old British family. We started to hang together and whatever have you, and. He had a title and everything, but they weren't that wealthy anymore. But the aristocrats, it doesn't really matter because they think they are better than you are. So I happen to be a member of a very exclusive and private club called Morton's. Just in the middle of Mayfair in London, on Davis Street or Berkeley Square, and he used to come with me all the time and hang out with me at this club, and he was always immaculately spoken, and I was a bit rough on the edges from Norway with my way of speaking English, and not choosing the right words all the time and whatever have you. And after a year or something, we were sitting at the bar in Morton's, where I was a member and he wasn't. And we were sitting at the bar, and something come up, and we were talking about something, and we ended up having a discussion. And he turned around and he said to me, he said, "Gear," he said, "you might have money, but you have no fucking style." Well, I looked at him. I said, "You know what? I'd rather have my money than your fucking style, because you have style and your family have no fucking money. And I'm leaving now, and I signed you in. You are my guest, so you have to fucking leave this premises too." Stuck his fucking lordship up his fucking ass, and I never spoke to the douchebag again in my life.
He had the guy had one of those moments where somebody says something to you, and they get it right, and you got nothing to say.
No, he had nothing to say. He had to follow me. He looked at me and I said it loud at the bar as well, so people were turning around and everything. And he was like,
that moment is like, if that moment doesn't change that guy's way of thinking or his frame of mind, nothing ever will.
No, nothing ever will.
Well, one thing I've learned, it's extremely, extremely, extremely difficult to change the way somebody is. Period.
Listen, I have a guy, and he is the most, I don't know what the English word is for it. It escapes my mind at the moment, but he is like, if you, let's say, whatever you say, he has either done it better or whatever you say is wrong. Yeah, you know what I mean? Doesn't really matter what you discuss with him. So in the beginning, I got fucking irritated, and he got to my nerves, and I started to have all these discussions with him. And in the end, I said, you know what? Why am I wasting my time on this? Because he is like this. If I told him that 1 meter is made up of 100 centimeters, yeah, and he had in his head that 1 meter is made up of 95 centimeter, it wouldn't matter of all the proof in the world and logic in the world that I would tell him, he will still believe in his mind that 1 meter is 95 centimeter. You know what I mean? So I just had to, so when I meet people like that, which are not willing to listen, to reason or whatever, I don't waste my time. I just agree with them, straight away just to get off the topic, because if not, you're going to sit there for 3 hours, and it doesn't matter what proof you put in front of them, because they are so set in their own mindset that it's impossible, you know.
Bill, do you know anybody
As
like
you grow
that?
older, I think as you grow older,
Yes.
you start to calm down and just let people believe their own BS and live in their
Yeah.
own dream world, and you know they're never gonna change. So what's the point in even trying to educate them?
That's it exactly. What do you think, Bill?
Yeah, there's always those people running around, and I just try to avoid them like they got the plague. And it's fruitless conversations, and you'll be talking to yourself in a circle because they're not they're not listening, they're not adding to it, they're just stuck on their one thought, and that's the end of it. So
I've seen people when I was younger, and they were like that, and then I seen them 40 years later, and they're still like that.
yeah,
And I'm thinking, man, you're gonna.
Okay.
I hope you're mentally tough enough to accept, accept what's coming to you.
Well, here's what's really funny about a lot of people like that, the ones that I've known. So a lot of them, they know, they get it. We used to say in education, a little bit of knowledge is dangerous. So maybe somebody tells them, hey, a foot is really 10 inches. Well, okay, so they're stuck on that. But you might meet them 40 years later, and they no longer are they stuck on 10 inches. Now they've heard that it's 16 inches is a foot. So now they're going to argue that it's 16 inches. But they're never going to get it right because they don't have the capacity to open up their mind and to learn and study themselves to figure it out. They're just going to go on whatever was thrown out there. And that's what they're stuck on. No, I saw. And that's all there is to it.
The worst thing I know about ignorant people, which really kills me, is that, like, even with my kids, I mean, not now so much, but my oldest is 22 and my youngest is 20. But a typical thing between him and all his mates and their mates, ever growing up, was we were discussing certain things, and when I asked them a question, which is like it's called like a common interest of the world or life or whatever, and you got the answer back that, oh, I can't discuss that with you, Dad, because we didn't learn it in school. So I said, okay, so if I ask you what is the capital of the Netherlands, and because you didn't learn it in school, have you never thought about actually just open up an atlas and just for like an hour, have a look at how the world is divided into continents and where the different places are and capitals are and so on, just for your own interest. You don't look stupid when other people speak to you. No, we didn't learn it in school, so it's not. Why should I need to know what the name of the capital in Netherlands is? And I mean, that's the youth today. They are spoon-fed in something, and if they haven't learned it or whatever, I mean, 99% of them just don't take an interest in general knowledge. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Most people don't want to open up and learn because they may find out something that they've thought was wrong. So therefore, they were wrong. And people don't want to admit that they're wrong. So that's why they like living in a closed-minded world. The funny thing we found in higher ed, the funny thing is this: most people who keep going up and getting masters and PhDs and all of this crap, their logic world gets much, much smaller also. They get a higher degree, but now they see the world like this, that's only in that PhD versus this versus this.
Right.
So it's interesting.
As long as nobody tells me that the Earth is round, we can have all the conversations. When you start going with that round Earth stuff,
Yeah.
Well, it's not. It's square. I mean, if you even can't figure out that it's square, I don't know what the hell's wrong.
There's
It's like a
there's
rectangle.
you always hear people say there's two things you shouldn't discuss, but politics and religion. Well, there's more than that because there's the Earth too. Is it round or is it square?
Well,
you're gonna find somebody that believes something no matter what.
Yeah, no matter what you say. Like I was saying, you could know somebody 40 years ago, and they're still on that. They're still hung up on that same thing.
Right.
well, it's because it gives them identity. So I'm a flat earther. That's
Oh,
their identity now. I'm a flat earther, or I'm a underworlder. I think there's a world
Right.
That's why they hang on to the bullshit,
Sure.
because it gives it. Same thing with religion. People hang on to that so tight
well,
because that gives them an
That's
identity.
why people are starting their own cults because
yeah.
they were
That's right, Tim.
mistreated when they were kids. Nobody wanted to be around them. And then all of a sudden, they sort of woke up and they found a bunch of other fucking losers. And they got like 60 people in this entire world who worship them like fucking God. And then they keep to that little group and they are like, they are the number one in their little tribe. You know what I mean? It's like you have all these tribe channels on YouTube and whatever have you as well, with all these people who believe in all these various type of conspiracy theories and whatever. But they all seem to congregate towards that. It's just they want to belong to something. They have this need of belonging to something.
Sure.
And do you know where that starts? At least in America, because that's all I can speak for. Where that starts is public schools. Because we, as young people, and Bill knows this, he grew up here, you either become a jock, or you're a band person, or you're a nerd, or you're a stoner, or you're a goth, or you're this. So in public schools in the United States, we are driven into a small category to have an identification. Isn't that right, Bill? Don't you agree?
Well, it's pushed onto them pretty much. It's easier to control when you divide. So
Yes.
once you divide everybody up, it's easier to.
These days in America is even worse because one thing is to be a nerd or be a jock or be a stoner. These days, they're 10, 15 years old before they even know if they have a dick or a pussy.
You had those categories down there, Gear. Yeah, exactly. I'd like somebody will say to you, be prepared for.
I'm a non-binary with a hint of
pumpkin.
Be prepared for the impending doom. Well, what should I do? I don't know.
I think the key is this, especially if you got young children. The key is to get your children to think outside the box. Because I can only speak for the U.S. education system, which sucks. The fact is, we teach our children to think inside the box, and now it's really bad because we're praising them for being binary or non. I mean, all this weird shit. That's a different animal. But even when we were growing up, we were taught that it's a small world and we need to live in this little world. Don't think outside your box. That's the problem with the U.S. education system. We got to teach her, and Bill, who has small children, and everybody else, you got to take your kids and go, we're going to think a much bigger.
Yeah.
I'm a product of that shit, so I know.
It looks like you're going to have
it's like the problem today is that we see younger people, they all buy into this global war. I mean, all the fucking bullshit which goes on. And 40 years ago, the world was heading towards an ice age. And all of a sudden now we are heading towards, doom and gloom and are burning up. Hey, make up your mind. Don't they realize?
You know what? if anybody would bother to look at these graphs throughout time, the climate has been changed so many different times, up and down. Matter of fact, the Mississippi River was frozen from the beginning of it, the tributary, all the way down to the Gulf in 1900.
Listen, there is a fact that less than 2% of the climate gases in the world is actually man-made. 98% is done by the Earth itself.
Yes.
So it doesn't really fucking matter. They did a calculation. If you take the country of Sweden, you take the 8 million people and ship them off somewhere else, and you plant the whole damn place with just trees. Just trees in the whole of Sweden. The impact that will have on the world will last for less than 12 hours.
A lot of those people that think the way they do about the greenhouse and all this other shit, they don't know that. They don't know the other part. If I said to them, hey, if I told them that Mississippi River story, they go, oh, I never heard of that.
Well, from my perspective, look, I'm not worried about, because I agree with you, the global warming crap. But I do think that from a planet standpoint, from an environmental standpoint, us dumping toxic waste into the water system in India or wherever, whatever is going on, when we pollute the earth can fix itself. But polluting the environment is not good for any of us.
I just got a thought there when you said that. They pollute this and that. But this government and the whole world, as a matter of fact, they don't bother. What are we going to do with the nuclear waste? We can't get rid of it.
No.
So those same people that do that are going to tell me that I got to do.
It's a double standard.
I got to drive a car with a battery because the air is polluted.
Yeah, it's a double standard, and the electric car is going to cause more damage than the damn.
When the world
cars in worse than anything, because they were trying to have a bill in California, and they were gonna. So number one, they were gonna close mining because mining was polluting. They were going to have everybody to drive electric cars. So this other politician, smart one, was saying to the blue guys in California, the Democrats, and said to him that number one, you have to do 350 more copper mines or whatever. What do you think batteries is made of? What do you have to do, and how are you going to be able to get rid of all these batteries and whatever when you have to change them after 15 years? Yeah. And by the way, where are you going to get the electricity from, which is going to charge all these vehicles with the batteries and come up with all this stuff? And this other guy was like, ooh. It's like,
Well, you know what? Well, don't worry about that when they get there.
100 times more.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you, when I was younger, I heard that I don't know what Asian country it was, but before they found different ways of recycling rubber from tires, that they were burying all this shit. I forget what Asian country it was. But whatever this area that was in, they had no farmable land because of all the tires they were burying.
The pollution.
Yeah, it was a long time. I forget who. It's got to be some really bad.
There's so many countries. We in the United States used to bury tires.
Yeah, well, now they got 1,001 uses for the shit.
Yeah, somebody's figured out how.
And it goes in this. Listen, the 2000 bug. Yeah, who created the whole computer data programming industry in India. It created. It started in 1996 to get prepared for this doomsday in the year 2000 when every computer and everything is going to crash and ruin. So the companies spend billions in upgrading and fixing the so-called computer system for this bug and all this shit to create industry, tons of tons, millions and millions and millions of jobs. And I was sitting in Honolulu on the New Year's Eve 2000, this last big city in the world to go into year 2000. And I was up for 23 hours. I was watching all these catastrophic things which were going to happen, first in New Zealand, then Australia, then in bloody Philippines, then in China. And as the day went on and nothing fucking happened, then it's like, hello. 15
Hey.
years ago, we were told in Norway to go from petrol cars to diesel engines because it was less polluted because of the new diesel engines and so forth. So the government gave us grants to buy diesel rather than petrol. So most people invested in that. Now diesel is like the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
And now everybody can drive electric. I mean,
all of a sudden around here, they want to make streetcars popular again, and diesel get rid of diesels. Now listen, I heard this quote by Mark Twain because I'm reading Tim's comment, and in that comment he said, Mark Twain said, "No amount of evidence can ever persuade an idiot." The truth,
And it's like, look at kids, for example. This has gone through an educational system run by governments and whatever have you always. Most people which are, when they live at home for free, the parents are paying for everything. It's very popular to be a socialist or a Marxist, or it's very popular to be a communist because, in fairness, it sounds great. It sounds great that everybody should be equal. I mean, it sounds great to an idiot of 8 years, and which has been indoctrinated by the teachers up to, because we are leaving our kids to be brought up and educated by a third party that we have no control over whatsoever. But the funny part is that when they all start to have to go out and get their own job and make their own money and all that, all of a sudden, it's not that bad to be a capitalist instead. So then, switch over from being socialist and Marxist and communist, and you read, you see what happened. Has there been a socialistic country, Marxist country, a communist country which has ever survived or made the living standard better? It has ruined every place on earth. They have been trying out this. And then you hear like that douchebag politician in the States, or
Biden?
the woman up from
California.
from Minnesota, whatever her name is.
Oh, yeah, Mari, whatever her name is.
AJ or whatever she's called, I can't remember. And that old politician, and he sits there and he goes, "Yeah, but we're gonna have a different type of socialism." And then he always talks about, look how well it works.
Bernie Sanders
and Finland. Yeah, but we have history of you're not going to be able to implement the social capitalistic element of other politics into a country like the US, because this is something which has been developed over hundreds of years.
When Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren give speeches about stuff, and all the rich, they're fucking rich themselves. You know what?
Yeah,
they're not gonna let anybody take that shit from them. And Bernie and all the unions at the time. One of these union guys was at our station, and they're trying to get you to back Bernie Sanders. And I said, ain't Bernie Sanders the one that said white people don't know what poverty's like? He said that. White people don't know what it's like to be poor.
Well, has he never been to a trailer park in Alabama or in Tennessee or where most of the U.S. military recruit their people from.
When he said that, he
He never
lost
had a
me.
job in his life. He's only been a politician. So
But I love it. I love it when these guys are up there. Him and Elizabeth Warren talking about rich people, and they're freaking rich.
Yeah. What it is,
Nobody in this world, no politician in this country is they play that game with crypto. They're not going to let this country will never let anybody be the top dog. Never, no matter what. It ain't happening.
what do you got to say, Bill? I can see it in your eyes.
What? No. I was just listening to the Tony later.
Nah, I just get on that topic of how they control stuff. It's horrible. You see it. What are you gonna do? Just try to do what's best for you and your family, and try to throw your vote out there. Get those clowns. I mean, and I'm not one side or the other. It's there's so many damn clowns in the politics in the U.S. And as you guys know, I live in the Philippines, so I see their struggles, their problems too. But I don't talk to the Philippines about their issues because we got issues. So how am I going to be over there talking to them who they should vote for and who they shouldn't? I seen one candidate that was running for office. I'm like, oh goodness, she's that socialist situation going on, and I was like, well, I hope to God she doesn't get in office. Or
hey, you know what? Now that you mention that, you know that Marcos Jr. did not attend a single debate, and yet he won by 15 million votes.
Well, there you go.
And they never debated. Nothing.
Well, but that's okay. That's their way they do it.
I know that's what I'm saying. Anybody, so
I mean, who won?
I think one of my sister-in-law's mentality was, and she's too young. She's 32. She don't know nothing. She said, oh, that thing is just the Marcos and the what was the other guy's last name? Kinos. Totally ignorant to everything. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God. But that was that's their thing though, not mine,
Here in America, many years ago when I was a young college student, I met a guy and I've known him until he died. I mean, known him probably 20, 25 years. A really smart guy. He was a microbiologist, very gifted in many, many different fields, but he was a microbiologist, a very good one. He told me one time when I was really young, he's like, we got talking about Democrats and Republicans. He said, when you're young and you have nothing, you're a Democrat. But when you get older and you have stuff, then you become a Republican because you don't want anybody to take the shit that you work so hard for.
Exactly.
And it turned out to be the exact other way. That the older I got, and he told me, he's like, David, you're going to be very successful in life. I can tell. Maybe, you're just trying to encourage, whatever. But when you get to that point, you're going to realize you're not a Democrat. And it happened.
I have a friend of mine.
I don't want anybody to want my stuff either. So.
Like, I have a friend of mine, which was a die-hard Marxist when we grew up. And he come from a super, super wealthy family in Norway. And he went to private college in Switzerland and everything. And he was reading Karl Marx. And I mean, we couldn't see eye to eye almost for a period when we were younger, because he was so Marxist because he could afford to be it, because he come from such a wealthy background and family, to his father's demise as well. So anyway, he went on some study trips. And this is back in the 70s. So he went to Russia, and he went to Poland and to Bulgaria and a few other places. And he come back again. And I tell you what, I never saw anybody leaving Marxism and communism so fast and become a solid capitalist.
Right.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, I'd like to send a few of my people I know down to Cuba and go check that out.
Oh,
See how it's working for you.
no, send them to Venezuela
Venezuela, yeah. That's
Yeah.
what
or
Bernie kept
or
preaching about.
send them to Rocket
Venezuela
Man.
is so good. Go check them out. Then they just crashed. It's like,
Send them to North. Send them on like a year study trip to North Korea.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. No, it's absolutely crazy. And Tim's right. The politicians want to control us. The interesting thing is gas where we are has dropped 30 cents in 3 days.
Yeah.
What the
Yeah.
hell? Why is it now all suddenly going, gasoline, it's down to
Right.
2.79 a gallon and 30,
Right.
30 cents in 3 days.
And you know, we here in Europe, we are laughing our heads off when you guys are screaming over like $6 for a gallon or something. You know, when we are used to prices of petrol or gasoline at the pump here in England and Norway and whatever, we are used to like 14 bucks a gallon.
Yeah, but we're Americans. We demand better.
Right.
But we are in Norway is a huge oil producer and gas producer. I mean,
Right.
we are after Russia. I mean, we are the lifeline and blood of Europe now with our gas deliveries to Central Europe.
It's crazy. It's crazy. But I don't know. I don't know. So, Bill, we were talking earlier about the expats that go to third world countries. Do they do it for money? Do they do it for the love, or both, or what do you think? What's the main motivation for a lot of expats from any country? What's
Yeah.
your opinion?
Well, I've seen a few expats. I'm just seen a couple of them. No, but I've seen them do it for different reasons. I've seen people. They're retiring. They want to go there. I've I've kind of seen the good, bad, and ugly. I've seen the predators over there trying to prey on these people.
Yeah.
I've seen the somebody there that's actually trying to do some good too. So I've seen a little bit of everything, and just depending on you know you can usually figure them out within moments of talking to them. Walk up to them and see what they start talking to you about. You get a pretty quick idea of what reason they're there for. And the area that I live in, there's very few expats. So usually when I'm traveling throughout the Philippines, I go to Davao or something. If I go to Jinsan or something like that, then I'll see some expats and talk to them a little bit. But I can really make them out really quick about why they're there and what they're into.
Well,
Oh, it must be perfect if you're gonna move from America, Europe, and then move to the Philippines and feel like home. Just go to Duma because that's where everybody lives.
Yeah,
here's the funny thing, Bill. Guys, here's the
I've
funny
been there, but
because I thought the same thing when the times I've been in the Philippines, I've been able to. You see a foreigner, maybe you see somebody who doesn't fit,
Right.
fat white guy or a white guy, and you go, I wonder where they're from and what their purpose is, why they're here, and you kind of can observe, right? And you can kind of figure out things a little bit. But the funny thing is, I thought about when we were there. This last go around was, are they doing the same thing to me? Are they thinking I'm only here because I'm screwing that girl next to me?
Right.
Not having a clue. I thought about that. Being because we went to the typhoon and everything, which is horrible. So I was wondering kind of that. I wonder if the other expats look at me and go, I wonder why he's here. Is he an alcoholic? Is he looking for 12-year-olds? Or is he married and have kids here?
Exactly.
So.
But and I hear like some of them, they'll say, "Well, what kind of young hottie did you get? Like,
Yeah.
shit, me and my wife's been married a long time, but I didn't pick up no young hottie.
Yeah.
I mean, we're similar age. We're, you know, we got kids. We're family. You know, we're not. I'm not over here trying to get the oh, are you 18 yet? Maybe we can date. You know, that's not what I'm there for. You know,
I'll give
and
your family $600 if I can marry your 17-year-old
right,
daughter.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I see them over there, and they're like saying that stuff to me, and I'm like, hey, I don't roll like that. That's not what I'm here. That's not why I'm here. Maybe you, and that's good for you, whatever. But I better not find out you touching no kids. I might bust you myself.
Yeah.
So
It's interesting and sad. And
yeah,
I don't know. And everybody has their own reasons. I do think, and not that there's anything wrong with drinking. I drink, but I think a lot of guys seem to be heavy drinkers.
Same in Thailand, same in Laos, same in Vietnam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like it makes it easier to become well, and we ran into expats, especially after the typhoon wiped us out, and we all kind of got shuttled and massed into stupid little hotels and condos that were torn up from the typhoon. We ran into a lot, and I don't know how many guys just said, "Well, I just come here because I can get drunk and screw girls."
Right.
I mean, openly just tell you,
Yeah.
I'm 80 years old. I've been here for 20 years. All I do is drink and screw.
Right.
I'm 60. I came here so I can have the next 20 years to drink and screw.
Right.
Okay. So.
Yeah, but it's not just in Philippines and in Thailand and in Laos and Vietnam and those places, Cambodia. I mean, the same is also in a lot of people go to African countries. And a lot of people go to Central America, to Honduras and Costa Rica and those places, and Brazil and whatever have you. So the drinking and screwing sex type scenario, they'll find it anywhere where it's easy access and cheap enough.
Yeah.
But on the other side of that coin, it's the same thing in America. I've known a lot because I taught international students all my life. I know a lot of people from many different countries, and a lot of them come here to work or to immigrate over. But for them, drinking and screwing is what they're doing in the States. It's like, I'm away from my family in China, so they don't know what I'm doing. So I am going to live it up. And boy, do they ever live it up. So it's the same thing everywhere, every country, from every nationality to a new one. That's what I think.
Ken has a new hero. He's worshiping the guy that is drinking and screwing at 80.
That guy, which is 80 and doing that, he is worshipping Viagra instead, I think.
I used to watch this. He moved back from the Philippines to the state. Bob Martin, his name is. I forget what he used to have his channel. He lived in Davao, and he had a writer there that was, I think, a Navy retired, did a merchant marine thing. He's like 70s. This guy was like 70 some years old, and him and his wife, which I don't know if she was 40 something or 50. They had lunch with the daughter of her friend and her fiance or whatever. This guy was like 40 some years old, and the girl was 19. That's one thing. And my wife's 18 years younger than me, but he sat there in her presence and put down women and talked to her. He was so rude to her, treated her like shit. This old man wanted to punch him in the face,
Right.
because this guy was talking about her, treated her like she was nothing, and she sat there and took all this because she had her chance to help her family out.
Right.
That kind of thing around me, that ain't happening. I don't give a shit if you're twice as big as me. Ain't happening. I ain't gonna deal with that. That's bullshit.
Visitor.
What was a bullshit?
Uh-oh, here comes the warden.
Oh.
Everybody say hi to the warden.
Hi.
Yeah,
Was
David
The
said he itches and he's scratchy.
I was telling them earlier that the police came to the house because we got in trouble.
Yeah, the dog police.
Because somebody complained that our dogs bark.
Really?
is that a police matter?
I guess so. They called somebody.
Seriously?
I hope you guys close the window when you're going nuts in the house, because you never know.
I'm serious.
What time?
He was here. Oh, he didn't say when they were complaining about the dogs.
They might arrest you on porn charges.
You should, then you should, if the dogs are the problem, then you should get some roosters and a karaoke machine as well.
You get an outdoor karaoke machine and invite all the Filipinos over.
And get some roosters in the garden, in the yard.
Why do these dogs bark? Oh, they're from the Philippines. They bark a lot.
Somebody complained. I don't know. He wouldn't tell me who. I said, well, that's kind of being a coward. That's what I tell the guy. I said, that's being a coward.
Hey, I saw this funny line in one of the great
food in there.
what do you call it, movies with Peter Sellers, Pink Panther, and the guy, and he saw the dog, and he says, "Does your dog bite?" And the guy says, "No, my dog doesn't bite." He puts his hand down there, and the dog bites him. He said, "I thought you said your dog didn't bite." And the guy said, "Well, that's not my dog."
That's right.
So
You got to be.
I'm astonished because you have, with all the crime and apparently no budget for the police and all the drugs related issues and everything, and they actually have time to turn up. I bet you if it was a burglary, they wouldn't have turned up.
Probably not. Probably not.
If he's toward the end of his shift, he ain't going on no burglary.
Well, I mean, the officer was fine. He behaved just fine. But as somebody complained that our dogs bark, I'm like, well,
They are dogs. What do dogs normally do? They
my
bark.
real was like, well, tell them to go fuck themselves and move. But
They're wiener dogs, man. They're wiener dogs. Dachshunds or something.
But here, let's get back to Ken. Ken, I'm telling you, we met this guy, Lorelei and I. After the typhoon, we were all crammed in this nasty ass hotel. It only had water for 4 hours and electricity for 4 hours, and we paid like $300 a night for. But I met this gentleman, 80 years, really nice guy, very good looking black man, very well dressed. Proudly announced he's 80 years old. He drinks every day. He makes about $4,000 a month in different retirements. His sister is always sending him money because she thinks he's poor living in the Philippines. And he absolutely told Lorelei and I both, my only thing is to drink and screw. That's what I do. He lives on Mactan in a boarding house or one of the little condo units. They're on island. But,
I'm hot and sweaty and stinking. That's what I want to talk about.
So,
is his last name Robin? Or Dennis Rodman's father lived up in Angeles City, so
no, but
he's been doing that for a while. I think he passed already, but
I know.
I've seen him in people's live or streams too. He was walking in the street like, there's Dennis Rodman.
Hey, I had an old elected on my bus in the fare box. He says, "Where do I put the coins?" I said, "Right there where it says coins." He said, if it had hair around that hole, I'd have found it.
So Bam, do you live in Mindanao? Or?
Yeah, I live in Mindanao, South Cotabato, about an hour away from Jensen.
Oy.
Is that sort of, I don't know where Jensen is. I've never been to Mindanao. I've been everywhere else around the Philippines. But
It's
is that sort of the Zamboanga part of Mindanao, or is it sort of Davao, Butuan, that part of Mindanao?
I'm
it's
in
the part
Bhutan.
they tell you don't go to. It's down south. It's where the bad people are, and
So it's close to
Autonomous region.
Zamboanga, is it?
it's over from it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's
So
where they say that you shouldn't travel if you are white, yeah?
yeah. That's where I live. So
Oh, and I say that I bet you it's more dangerous to be in downtown Chicago, Detroit, or in LA, you know?
Yep.
so what I do is I make myself number one. I don't announce any place that I go. I go places, right?
Yeah.
So I don't tell ahead, hey, we're gonna go over here to Cotabato City. We're gonna go over here to this resort. I go there. I leave there. I tell people I went there.
Yep.
And then I always keep myself. I'm about 3 or 4 Filipinos big, so it's going to take about 12 of them to carry me away if they want to try to kidnap me. So good luck with that because I'm not going willingly. So
And you probably don't go up in the mountain region anyway where the bandits are, so.
well, when I do go to some of those type places, it's very quiet. I got, my vehicle is very dark tinted. We get in there, we get out. It's not, hey, look at us, look, and we don't try to attract attention. We don't flash cash. They'll
That's right.
never see money on me.
Yeah.
My wife handles all money transactions. They'll never, uh, you know, we don't drive a fancy vehicle. We don't, it's very quiet. They'd have to really look for me to find me. Now, when I'm in town, uh, the town I live in is Coronadal. They call it Marbo. But when I'm there in town, I'm safe enough there in town. Everybody kind of knows me now, and I've been playing Santa Claus since I've been in the Philippines. So everybody knows me as Santa, and
Oh, Bam! Actually, I think on somebody's live stream, I actually have spoken to you one time before, and that was actually when you were down in the Philippines, and I remember it now. But you didn't have the hat on when you were down there.
right, yeah.
No, and the other good thing for you, Bill, is you look scruffy and poor.
Well, that's
Oh,
good.
man.
I am broke as shit. If you guys want to, I'm an e-bagger, so please let me give you my PayPal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we can all share PayPals.
Right, we can
I mean,
pass it around.
pass them around.
Throw one out there.
So I give you 10,000 peso, and then you give it up, and you give it across, and then Tony give it back to me. Then we all have made 10,000 peso each, haven't we?
And PayPal made the money, So,
Oh,
thank you, CJ3. Good to see you.
we're man in here.
Hello to everybody. I see you. Okay, nice.
My battery's gone.
Welcome to join us. So no, it's that's partly. I mean, because we do stick out like sore thumbs in foreign countries. You know.
When I'm in Davao, though, we have a house in Davao as well that we go to and stay sometimes. But when I'm in Davao, like it's such it's a calm city. I mean, it's big, but people don't notice me. They don't, I look like every other foreigner that's there, and you don't attract a lot of attention. Like there's a lot of places where I go when I walk in the building. Everybody's going to be staring at me. They like own my shirt or something. They're staring so hard, and but places like Davao and stuff, nobody notices you. They might notice me because I, look like Santa or something like that. But other than that,
Well,
kind
my
of
problem
blend
is
in.
they all notice me because I'm so good looking, and
Is that
man,
what it is?
those chick eyes just start beaming, and Lorelai gets mad, and I'm like, I had nothing to do with it. I'm just sitting there eating rice. Yeah. So
Well, my wife got over that many years ago. She lived in America with me for so long, and we'd visit, and pretty much she had to, of being married so long, she decided she's not going to worry about what they are doing. She just need to worry about me, right? If I'm
about us.
giving them attention, giving them, whatever, worry about that. But I don't do that.
Yeah. Not our style.
I'm not that guy.
So are you hoping to get back by Christmas, or how long do you got any plans figured out?
Yeah, I haven't bought a ticket yet, so we'll see. So just whenever it happens, I'll go back. Uh, I don't know. H2H. That's who I'm staying with, and he plans to go over before Christmas. So I'm going to send a few gifts back for the kids just in case I don't get back in time.
Good.
Stick it in a ballot buying box, but 3-4 months from now they get it.
Are you back? You back without your family? You're there by yourself, Bill? Yeah.
Yeah. My kids,
Are you back to work or just visiting family or?
No, I came over to handle some stuff that I needed to get done in the States.
Okay.
And
Housekeeping.
Right, exactly. And things are taking longer than I thought, but
As they normally do.
Yeah.
That's what happens, right? But the kids, they're just back in school from being out for the 2 years or whatever there, and I just could not think of pulling them out of school after they just got back in to bring them with me for undetermined amount of time. I didn't go back to, I'm from Indiana, so I didn't go all the way back to Indiana. I didn't go there, but I just came here to Hawaii, kind of closer, and hanging out
I didn't go
Where are you now?
in Hawaii.
Hawaii. Where in on Oahu or?
Yeah.
Interesting. My American old business partner lives. He moved from LA from Pacific Palisades about 15, 20 years ago when we had an office in Honolulu, just 3 blocks up from Waikiki Beach, and he lives in Kahala.
Okay.
Just on the other side of Diamond Head, just by the golf course there, 1 street up from the beach.
Very nice.
I spent a lot of time in Hawaii there, and on Kauai and on the Big Island, and I used to be in Hawaii 3-4 times every year. I love it. I mean, I love it's the only state in America where the Caucasians are in a minority. It's so friendly people, beautiful people.
Yeah.
It's
And Bill, you can say
awesome.
You're in Hawaii with a smile. You
Right.
got to remember, you could have came back to like Southern Arkansas and stayed in a trailer park.
Right.
You're in Hawaii, so it's okay to go. It's not like
Ukulele.
I'm over here struggling. No, I have a house back in Indiana and stuff, and I got some stuff I need to take care of there, but I just did not have I don't have those kind of clothes where it's 17 degrees in Indiana right now, and my tomatoes is just not going to be enough for Go
Yeah,
ahead. So,
Goodwill. Go to the Goodwill store. and
I
pick
only
it up.
wear shoes when I got to go to what do you call it? Immigration.
right, exactly.
What's the weather like in Honolulu now?
Oh, it's gorgeous. You know, I wish the Philippines was like this. I would be so happy.
Yeah, because you don't have the humidity.
What is it
Right.
there? 5 p.m.
So where are, I mean, are you what is it? Is it in the mid 70s, 80s now? Or?
Let me see if I see.
Yeah, when it's warm, you don't even look, huh? I know
Yeah,
it's warm.
I'm gonna guess it's about maybe
Gee.
it's probably low 80s right now. You know,
So for you now, it's about 2 p.m., 3 p.m. or something?
it's 4:14 p.m. right now.
Oh, okay.
Well, here's what I'll say. You suck. How's that? It's 30
Only,
degrees here. So
Right.
only bad thing with Hawaii is that, everything is 20-30% more expensive than the mainland, and the salaries are 20% less. So there is a huge gap there, because
Yeah.
obviously everything has to be freighted over to Hawaii and so forth. So it doesn't really make sense that the salaries are 20% less in average than the mainland, and everything else costs. So it's a swing of about 40%.
Yeah. It's weird for me. You know, I came from the Philippines, and I have not. I've been to Thailand and stuff. Why I've been in the Philippines, but 4 years now. So with the inflation and everything, then I come here to Hawaii, and everything seems like, oh my God, what's going on? You know, because like you go up and a burger meal at a burger joint is 12-15 bucks. Back when I was in Indiana, that's a $5 meal, and I'm paying
Yeah,
triple.
but I mean, Hawaii, as you know, I mean, Hawaii is, I mean, you go back to Indiana now, and I think that $14 down to
Right.
I went
750.
through there in 2013, the airport, and Burger King there, and on my way to, went down to Guam and then Manila.
Right.
It cost me $8 for a freaking, I don't know, a hamburger, a French fry, and a soda or something like that.
Yeah.
we
I
went
do
to
more than that now.
and we got two simple meals and it was $22.
What, a Happy Meal?
No, it's Sonic. Just
Oh,
number one and a number 4.
Right. Right.
It was
Just
like
a hamburger meal. Yeah.
yeah, I want the stuff that hard my arteries up the fastest.
Eating out in America's gotten expensive, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Give me that shit that'll kill me before I hit the door.
Thank you very much. I see. We appreciate you. You're welcome to come up and join the panel and laugh. Let's
The class.
Some interesting facts, Bill, about Hawaii is that on Maui, the driest point on Earth and the wettest point on Earth is only 4 miles apart.
really.
The microclimate there is enormous. I mean, you go over to where the Air Force base, the naval base is in Honolulu and stuff over that side. It maybe don't rain for 300 days, and then you go from Kahala, and just 3 miles up from Kahala, and it rains almost every day.
Right.
Wow.
The microclimate, that's the most fascinating thing with the Hawaii. I mean, I went to the big island, and a friend of mine is a volcanist, so he took me, the volcano, which is now
Erupting.
spewing out. I got pictures and everything. I was there with an ice hack, and I took it down into the lava, and I was one of the few that I walked out on it and everything, because he's a volcanist, so he took me out there, and we both got those shirts, which is
Fireproof.
heat shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was amazing. And we went to Lanai and stayed at Manele Bay, the resort there, and at the experience at Koela. And no, I mean, I fucking love it. I mean, if I would move somewhere in the entire world and forget about island sickness. I mean, people talking about getting island sickness because it takes an hour to go up to North Shore, yeah, from Honolulu. But the point is, most people who like. When my partner lived in Pacific Palisades, our offices was in Arizona Avenue in Santa Monica. It was basically down the canyon and up, and it was 15 minutes.
Right.
And you think about it, most people they never travel more than 20 miles away from where they live anyway.
Right.
Somebody say bye to IC.
Bye.
Uh,
So I could definitely live there because I think the people are friendly. There is not so much crime. I mean, I just love Hawaii. Everything about Hawaii is just fucking expensive.
yeah, that's it. Yep, I like it here as well. And it's a place I would definitely consider. But buying into real estate here
Oh,
is crazy. I just couldn't do it. I would be a renter, and
That cost enough doing that.
yeah, place that I would rent would be so small that forget all that.
Well, that's the key thing. If a lot of people don't understand this, at least from my perspective. If you're going to live in paradise, you want to live in paradise. You don't want to live in a shithole in paradise because then it's not paradise anymore.
Right.
Well, if you got to live in a refrigerator in the most beautiful place in the world, that's really not the most beautiful place in the world.
the only thing is that you don't really need such a big place in Hawaii to live in because first of all, people actually go to bed quite early there. I mean, because they are early risers and there are so much is outdoor living, it's golf, it's body surfing, it's beach life. It's the nightlife is not great. It didn't used to be because things close early. You know what I mean? Because that's the whole culture there. I mean,
Right.
try to get a dinner reservation somewhere after 9. Find a place to eat after 9. A proper restaurant after 9 p.m. I mean, forget it.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get going, guys.
Okay.
Yeah, about that time. I'm gonna get off of here too. It's past my time. Lorelai's home.
Oh, you're way past your time.
Yeah, hang out.
Well,
with
it's 2:21 a.m. here for me. So
Oh wow.
8:20 p.m. here, and of course, Yank's doing his on Friday. I do mine on Tuesdays. So we will see everybody Friday or
I'm gonna go
Tuesday.
spank the monkey now.
Bill, take care. It's good to see you, my friend.
It's good seeing you
take
guys.
care, yeah.
Feels
Thank
Enjoy
you.
Hawaii.
I appreciate it. I'll try. It's rough.
A bit tough, yeah. Bastard.
Bye bye.